This is a real receipt from this morning. Fixing a bug in production billing code, half a cent. Building a live operations dashboard, just under 2 cents. Reading a federal economic report and answering 10 questions on it, less than a cent. Running a warehouse restock, under a cent. Repairing a broken job scheduler, 2 cents. 5 jobs that would eat most of a person's working day. Total, 6.3 cents. The machine that printed this receipt launched this morning. It's Google's new Gemini 3.7 Flash, and for the next 8 minutes, you'll watch it earn every one of those cents against real machine graded work. No demos, no cherry picking. By the end, you'll have the 2-minute switch to start using it yourself. The one rule for which jobs to hand it. And a deadline sitting in writing on Google's pricing page that doubles this receipt on New Year's Day. 30 seconds of honest context first. Google calls this their most intelligent workhorse model for coding and agents. And workhorse is the important word. This is not the genius you consult twice a week. It's the employee that grinds through the pile. Google's own charts show it resolving far more real code issues than the last version, jumping ahead on long multi-step tasks, and nearly doubling its score on reading dense documents. But Google grading Google's homework is not a test. It's a brochure. So the morning it launched, I built a test it could not have seen. 5 real jobs. The exact same prompts went to the new model and to the old 3.6 Flash at temperature 0. And a script graded every answer. Hidden test suites, a real browser, brute force checkers. No opinions anywhere in the loop. I ran the full battery 3 times and kept the middle numbers. No lucky runs, and every raw receipt is saved. Here's what happened. Job 1. Fix production code. This is a prorated refund function. The kind of billing code that quietly leaks money for months before anyone notices. Mine had a time zone trap, a 30-day month assumption, and a rounding bug, and the only instruction was find every bug and fix them all. Then I threw 400 hidden test cases at the result. The new Flash, every bug found, 400 out of 400, in 4 seconds. The old one also got there, in 10. Keep your eye on those clocks. They become the whole story. Job 2. Build me a dashboard. 1 file, 9 mandatory requirements, computed stats, a sorted table, failed rows flagged in red, a live search box, dark theme, safe on a phone, 0 outside connections. I didn't judge the result by eye. A robot browser opened each page and ran 12 automated checks, typing into the search box, measuring the colors, checking the sort order. 12 out of 12. Both of them. Every single run. The new one did it in 10 seconds. The old one took 26. Job 3. Paperwork. I handed each model the actual federal GDP report, the real PDF tables and all, and asked 10 questions. One of them was a trap. Whether the government selling oil from the strategic reserve changed GDP. The answer is buried in the technical notes, and you can only get it right by actually understanding the mechanism. Keyword matching fails. 10 out of 10. Both models. 4 seconds versus 7.5. 3 jobs under 4 cents. If day 1 tests like this save you real money, follow. And membership keeps them coming. Job 4. Stop answering questions and go do work. I gave each model tools, check inventory, look up suppliers, place purchase orders, and one policy with a trap in it. Stock you've already promised to customers doesn't count as stock. So 22 hubs on the shelf minus 30 already sold means you're negative 8. Both models caught it. Both placed exactly the right 3 purchase orders, down to the minimum order rules, and correctly left the other products alone. 6 seconds of work versus nearly 10. So I went for hard mode. Job 5 is a broken job scheduler, built on a rule so obscure most working engineers don't know it. In cron, when you restrict both the day of the month and the weekday, the job is supposed to fire when either one matches, not both. I buried that bug and an off by one in the code and graded against a brute force checker. 200 cases. Both models found both bugs. Perfect scores. 16 seconds for the new one, 50 for the old. So after 5 real jobs, the scoreboard is a perfect tie. And you'd be forgiven for thinking, Google shipped nothing today. Now, look at the two numbers nobody graded. Time, under 40 seconds of total model time versus a minute 43. Money, 6.3 cents versus 11.4. 45% cheaper on the same price sheet. How? Because these models build their own thinking. Across my 5 jobs, the old model burned about 24,000 tokens just deliberating. The new one, 10,500, less than half the hesitation. That's the actual upgrade. You don't pay for smarter answers on everyday work. You pay less and wait less because it doesn't overthink your busy work. That is what Workhorse means. Now, the deadline. It's on Google's pricing page in plain writing. These prices hold through December 31st. On January 1st, both numbers double. My 6-cent receipt becomes 12.5. Still absurdly cheap. But every automation you build on this doubles in running cost on New Year's Day. So do the math on the double price and treat everything before January as the discount window it is. Here's how to use this today. Step 1. Open Google AI Studio in your browser. Pick Gemini 3.7 Flash from the model list and paste in your ugliest real task. Not a toy question. Judge it on your work the way I just did. Step 2. If you build anything. The model name is Gemini-3.7-Flash. For most tools, changing that one line is the entire migration. Step 3. The routing rule. Everything you just watched adds up to. If you can describe the job and check the result, a code fix, a report, an extraction, a dashboard, hand it to the workhorse. Save the expensive frontier models for the work you can't define in advance. One caveat, its knowledge of the world stops around March, so paste in anything newer as context. I've packed all 5 test prompts, the grading scripts, the routing rule, and the January 1st cost checklist into a 1-page playbook. Comment the word workhorse, and my bot sends it straight to you. Or grab it at hyperautomationlabs.co/free/workhorse. Real talk. 90% of you watching haven't subscribed. On Facebook, subscribe is the supporter button. That is what keeps the lights on here. On YouTube, it's free, and it tells the algorithm to send you more. Subscribe to support us. Here's what actually changed this morning, because it isn't the benchmarks. The price of a defined day's work dropped to the price of a gumball, and the weight dropped to the length of a sip of coffee. The winners this year won't be the people with the smartest model. They'll be the people who know exactly which jobs to hand the 7-cent employee. If you're building toward that, my beginner guides are linked below. The complete Claude Code Guide, the OpenAI Codex Guide, the Claude Cowork Sales Guide, and the Claude Architect Prep Kit. The builds behind these videos live on Instagram at Hyperautomation Labs. Next, I'm entering this thing against models that cost 20 times more. That test is already running. See you there.